In high school, I was bending reality, but I was unaware of it. I was extremely happy in the present moment because I had a great group of friends, I loved all the sports teams I was on, and I had a great home life and a great family. I also had a huge vision for my future. I wanted to play D1 football, I wanted to go to Northwestern in particular, and I would do whatever it took to get there. And because I was so far along on the x-axis and so far up on the y-axis, I was in the bending reality zone of the chart that should be popping up on your screen right now. So as you see in this chart, the farther you can be along the x-axis and the higher you can be up the y-axis, the more you get into this bending reality zone, which we'll touch on later what that exactly means. So because I was operating in this zone, I ended up achieving my vision of playing at Northwestern seemingly by fate. I always had this sense that I would end up there. There was a deep sense of knowing that I couldn't quite explain. And this deep sense of knowing was the sensation of bending reality, even though I wasn't consciously aware of this concept. But as I reached my vision and got to college playing football, I lost my vision for the future and I lost my happiness in the present moment. I'd reached the top of the mountain I envisioned, I failed to seek another mountain to climb, and I slowly tumbled down the mountain, wallowing into self-pity, escapism, and honestly becoming numb to reality. So in that chart, which I displayed earlier, I went from the top right corner, bending reality, to the bottom left. So from bending reality to the negative spiral. So I learned about this chart and this concept of bending reality from a book called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind by Vishen Lakhiani, which I'll link below, and it completely changed my life. Reading this book helped me gain awareness about why I felt so aligned in high school and why I was so misaligned in college. I realized I'd gone from the top right corner of the chart to the bottom left, and I knew something needed to change. So I started to take action. I tried to transfer to a D3 school to play quarterback because I knew it would shift my happiness in the present metric to the right, but this ended up falling through. Then I tried to get into prestigious investment banking jobs and join investment banking clubs at my school to solidify my vision for the future aspect, but I was denied from all of these. Looking back, very thankful that happened. And so because these things kept falling through, I was completely lost. But my intuition and my curiosity led me to psychedelics, thinking they would somehow provide me an answer to the questions I was looking for. And they did. They showed me that my potential as a football player was limited by the label I was putting on myself. Even if I gave it everything I had, I still was not going to make the professionals or go to the NFL. I'd maybe work hard enough to play in a very limited role my senior year. My potential as a football player would be capped at 22 years old, but my potential as a human being without the label of a football player would be unlimited, and I'd never seen it this way before, but psychedelics helped me step outside of myself and see myself from a different light. They made me realize I never thought of myself as anything other than an athlete and a football player for my entire life. And I realized without that label of an athlete, of a football player, limiting my human potential, I could become anything I wanted. At the time, I didn't know what this would be, but I knew I was meant for something more. And so after I decided to quit football and become a regular student, I embarked on a massive personal growth journey. And because I made these transitions and I didn't have to wake up at 5 a.m. and get my ass kicked at football every day, my happiness in the now dramatically increased. I went from waking up at 5 a.m. and getting destroyed by 6'2" cornerbacks who are now starting in the NFL to waking up when I wanted to, going on a lot of walks, listening to podcasts, reading for the first time in a long time, journaling, really appreciating the campus, making friends outside of the sports scene, and just honestly doing what I wanted to. So this drastically increased my happiness in the present. And my vision for the future also dramatically increased too. So now, without the constraint of being a football player, the roof that was my potential disappeared. There was no longer a roof. I could become who I wished to be. And with the combination of these two, the happiness in the present and the vision for the future, I was bending reality again. This time, though, it was conscious versus in high school it was unconscious. And now that I'm aware of this framework Anytime I feel out of alignment, I know either my happiness in the present moment is off or I've lost sight of my vision for the future. Because I have this awareness, I can make changes in my internal and external environment to get back into that bending reality zone. So to help you better understand where you might be in these 4 quadrants and move closer to bending reality, I'll briefly break down each box, and I'll put the chart on the screen again for your reference. So stage 1, the bottom left corner, the negative spiral. In this stage, your day-to-day life isn't enjoyable. Maybe you're working a job you hate, maybe you're studying something you don't care about, or maybe you're living with a partner or a roommate who you resent. Also in this stage, you don't have much of a vision for your future. You're lost with no real direction. Your future looks grim, dull, and depressing. I've been in this stage before, and it sucks, but gaining awareness of why you're in this state is the first step towards changing it. So here's how to escape this stage. You may have to make some drastic moves, take your life into your own hands, and realize you are the only person who can get yourself out of this situation. No one is coming to save you. You must take complete responsibility for your life. Only once you accept this will you have the power to change it. So ask yourself these 2 questions. How can I increase my happiness in my day-to-day life? And how can I create a vision for the future that inspires me? Maybe you have to turn your life upside down like I did when I quit football, changed my major, backpacked Europe, and took psychedelics. Maybe you have to quit your job. Maybe you have to drop out of college. Maybe you have to move across the country and hit the restart button. I can't tell you what to do because your situation is very context dependent and unique, but only you know. You have to get in touch with that deepest intuition and make drastic moves to get drastically different results. But understand, unless you make moves and unless you make real changes, your situation will not improve. So you must take responsibility for your situation to escape this stage. So stage 2 is the current reality trap. So this is the top left corner of the box. In this stage of the quadrant, you're content and happy in the present moment, but you lack a vision for your future. In this stage, life often looks like jumping from one shallow pleasure to the next, and this is often where a lot of the world lives in. You may feel content and happy from moment to moment, but you use these shallow pleasures to distract yourself from thinking about your future. So staying in this stage for too long will lead to stagnation in personal growth, lack of progress, and no true fulfillment that comes from striving towards a vision. So here's how to escape this top left stage. You must begin to think hard about your vision for the future. Ask yourself the questions, what do I want my future to look like? What goals can I set that will lead me toward this future? What does my life look like in 5 to 10 years if I never think about my vision for the future? So some ideas for you are taking a solo weekend retreat by yourself, doing a vision setting exercise with a mentor or a good friend, taking psychedelics and deeply introspecting. These can all be good ways to begin crafting and solidifying your vision for the future. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one to clarify your vision for the future, define actionable goals, and reverse engineer systems to hit those goals and create a life of freedom, specifically via the creator economy, I am launching a cohort on Black Friday, November 24th. So the price will be increasing on November 27th. So you listening to this in this video is the only time you're going to hear about the cohort at this price. So if you're interested in joining, you can click the link in the description to fill out a Google form to solidify your spot in the cohort before it goes public. But with that, let's move on to stage 3, stress and anxiety. So this is the bottom right stage of the quadrant. So in this stage, you have a vision for your future, but you are delaying your happiness until you reach your goals. So in this stage, your thinking is actually very flawed. Postponing your happiness until you achieve something external puts you on the hamster wheel of always chasing and never allows you to feel content. When you achieve this thing, you will find another thing to chase and continue to delay your happiness for the rest of your life. Or maybe in this stage, you're sacrificing the present moment, slaving away to make millions of dollars building a huge business, but you're miserable doing so. The irony is the person who has that massive vision for their future like you have in this stage, but is also happy in the present moment will achieve the same thing as you, if not much greater things. And they'll do so calmly, coolly, and enjoy the ride the entire time. So staying in this stage is foolish because life only actually exists in the present moment. Nothing else is real. All that exists is right now. By postponing your happiness, you're wasting your life. If you aren't happy now, what is the point? So here's how to escape this stage. Ask yourself, how can you make your life more enjoyable right now? Can you go about your work from a place of lower stress? Can you find other hobbies that you enjoy outside of your work? Can you change your internal state from postponing your happiness to realizing and understanding that all that exists is the present moment? When you're operating for more happiness in the now, you will go about your work from a place of more lightness and ease, and you will actually do better work as a result. If you think you might be caught in this stage, props on this honesty and self-awareness. And here's a quote from Alan Watts that really encapsulates this. So he says, "If we thought of life by analogy with a journey, with a pilgrimage, which had a serious purpose at the end, and the thing was to get to that thing at the end, success or whatever it is, or maybe heaven after you're dead. But we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing, and you were supposed to sing or dance while the music was being played." That's from Alan Watts, and I love that quote because it shows you that life is more like a musical than a journey, right? It's something that is supposed to be experienced in the doing rather than the end result. So the last stage, the title of this video or podcast, is bending reality. So this state is the peak human condition. You're happy in the present moment. Each day is complete. You're healthy and fit. You do work that fulfills you. You have hobbies you enjoy. You're surrounded by people you love. But you also have a massive vision for your future. You have a goal. You know how to get there. Your vision is aligned with your highest self. In this stage, the universe seems to bend to your will. You can achieve anything you set your mind to in this stage. You realize you are the creator of your reality and you have the power to create your dream life. The key to accomplishing anything you want is the result of tapping into this state of existence. In this state lies the perpetual flow state. In this state lies the ancient Tao. In this state lies the middle way. If you can get into this stage of bending reality, you will rise above the pack, you will create your dream life, and you will enjoy every second of the journey. So here's how to bend reality. How to bend reality. The vision and the anti-vision. You must get really clear on your vision and anti-vision. Your vision for the future should be so clear and exciting that the thought of it literally triggers a dopamine release in your brain and makes you want to jump out of bed and start working on your vision. Your anti-vision should be so frightening and depressing that it makes you disgusted to think about, and it also sparks you into action. Both the vision and the anti-vision provide you clarity on the y-axis of the bending reality chart. Vision is the most powerful force in the universe. Arnold Schwarzenegger envisioned himself in America winning Mr. Olympia when he was 15 years old, living in the countryside of Austria. Steve Jobs envisioned a computer that could fit in your pocket decades before Apple released the iPhone. Edwin Land envisioned a device that you could pull out of your shirt pocket and take a picture of the present moment and see it instantly. That vision turned into the invention of the Polaroid camera. The more clear your vision, the more likely you are to bring it into reality. And again, if you want to work together to clarify your vision for the future within the creator economy, feel free to sign up for the Google form below to register for the cohort. So here's a way you can do it. Creating a vision board. So a vision board can serve as a constant reminder of where you want to go in life, who you aspire to be like, and the philosophies you want to embody. I actually created mine this week, and I'll detail some of the aspects of it. I can also put it up on the screen here, but if you see in the top left corner, it's a book called Be Here Now by Ram Dass, and that's a reminder to stay present. The picture to the right of that is Lake Como in Italy, a trip I took last summer that was life-changing and somewhere I would aspire to be back at in the future. The top right picture is Walter Payton, my favorite football player ever, more so for his mentality and his work ethic than anything else. And I'll spare you all the descriptions, but you can see some Alan Watts quotes, a Charles Haanel quote. You can see a young Steve Jobs, Michael Jordan, San Francisco, and even a quote from Seneca. So all these different philosophies kind of come together to clarify the person I want to become and the things I want to achieve in the future. And now I just have to print this out and tape it all over my room. So you can make your own vision board in a Google Doc, on Canva, or on Figma, or anywhere else where you can add text and images. So think about how you can check all the boxes: fitness, finances, family, spirituality, philosophy, etc. And so by creating a vision board, you're actually moving yourself up the y-axis of the bending reality chart because you're clarifying your vision for the future and you're moving closer to bending reality. The next way to bend reality is to read philosophy and listen to spiritual teachers. So we just talked about the importance of moving up the y-axis by clarifying your vision for the future, but now let's talk about moving to the right on the x-axis. And this is where I believe absorbing philosophy books and listening to spiritual teachers can really help. By reading philosophy, you zoom out and understand the bigger picture. By studying spirituality, you realize the power of the present moment. You understand that now is all that ever exists and all that will ever exist. And you know that you are exactly where you are meant to be right now in this moment. Another Alan Watts quote is, "This is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize it is play." Combining this appreciation of today with a vision for the future gets you into that top right corner and allows you to start bending reality. The next piece here is understanding the power of thought. All thought is action potential. Creative output begins with creative thought. Everything around you, from the device you're listening to this on, to the clothes you're wearing, to the coffee you're drinking, started off as an idea in somebody's head. Steve Jobs elaborated on this when he said, "Life can be so much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is, everything around you that you call life was made up by people who were no smarter than you. And you can change it, you can influence it, you can build your own things that other people can use." The superpower of human beings, and the reason we are somewhat between animal and divine, is that we can alter reality with the ability of our mind. Ideas create action. Action creates change in physical reality. The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your future. If you believe you can change, you can. If you don't, you won't. Everything starts and ends with belief. Everything stems from the mind. If you learn to control and conquer the mind, reality holds no bounds over you and what you can achieve. Your potential is as high as you believe it to be. So create a vision for your future. Keep it top of mind each day. Take actions that move you closer to that vision each day. Maintain happiness in the present moment. Realize now is all that exists, all that has ever existed, and all that will ever exist. This is how you create your dream life. This is how you bend reality. So with that, that's the end of the podcast. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you listening. If you're on YouTube, if you could like, comment, subscribe, really appreciate it. If you're on Spotify, if you could give it 5 stars, subscribe to the podcast there, that would be amazing. And the last plug again for the cohort will be releasing on Black Friday, November 24th, and it will be increasing in price on Monday, November 27th, and it will increase in price every subsequent week until the enrollment closes on December 31st. So if you want to work with me one-on-one and join a community of like-minded, ambitious creators, I highly recommend joining the cohort. Everything I know about the creator economy and defining your life's work will be in the curriculum and in the cohort, and I would love to work with you one-on-one. So with that, thank you for watching, and we will talk soon.